Okay, so far and away my most popular video so far is my MP36 Plus transformation video. So I figured I would do an MP44 transformation video since I have MP44, MP50 I think is Nemesis Prime. There's 45 with Spike from Hound, and then I've got 52 back there. Little Star Screamer, and then I forget what spin out is. I think he's just 39 plus, I think. Anyway, so I've just seen a lot of videos out there of people transforming MP44/50 here, and nobody ever seems to transform him right, at least that I've seen. So I figured I would do my own video transforming him, and I'm going to use 50 because let's move this guy out of the way. This is my MP45 right here, 44, excuse me. This is 45, and I don't know if you can see. Let's see if I can zoom in here on his crotch. This is the main problem with this figure, is on his space diaper. I don't remember who coined that phrase, but it's pretty adept. On his space diaper, you get a lot of scratching on the paint here because they molded these pieces in white plastic and then painted them. And then this is just a really good area for you to get paint scratches on. Way to go, Takara. So what I did, I don't know if you can see it, but I actually sprayed his crotch. Focus. There we go. That's probably as good as I'm going to get. I actually sprayed his crotch area with a clear coat, and I suggest you do the same. I do have another one of these still in the box, sealed. Optimus Prime is my favorite character of all time, of any fictional character, any property out there. So I had to get two. One to keep in the box, and then one to play with. So I've played with this guy a lot, and all this paint you can see scratched on here, I touched up. Doesn't really match up, unfortunately, but then I got sick of doing that, so I just clear coated the whole thing, and that's kind of worked out for me. So that's what I suggest. Just tape it off. I taped off his legs and his top, and I just sprayed clear on there, like 4 or 5 coats, I think. And that's really helped keep his paint from smudging. But I don't know if you can see this, but let's see if we can focus. It's hard. Yeah, see, there's just paint. I hate that they cover these things with paint. I really do, because I like to transform these things, and I get that Takara wants to have like this premium feel to these figures to be worth the price point, but it just drives me crazy because I like to transform my Transformers, and I don't like having paint constantly rubbing off, and that's why I got this guy. Let's move 44 over there, because on his crotch it's actually molded plastic in this color, which is what I wish they would have done with MP44. Because his plastic is white, this paint scratches show up really bad. So I wish they would have molded it in a yellow plastic, and you can see on this figure they corrected that along with the knees, which my figure doesn't have any knee problems, thank goodness. But they changed the knees on this guy too, to kind of fix the issues they were having. I wish they would have molded his space diaper accents in yellow instead of white. Drives me nuts, because when the paint scratches, it shows up really bad. Another thing I would do, let's pop his head off for a second. Let's see if I can get this focused here. Switch hands. Focus, damn it, focus. Might have too much crap going on in the background here. Let's see if I can get it this way. We'll just handheld this shit. There we go. Okay, so another issue with this figure is the paint scratches on his faceplate and his crest. Same deal here. Come on. I've coated this guy with clear coat on his mouth guard because that will scratch as well, and I coated this with clear coat, but this rubs so bad, and I'll show you when I transform him where this is rubbing. I have to touch this up and re-clear coat it. And I went to the store, the hobby store, and I got, I'll show you guys what I use to coat these guys in clear coat. I did it on MP44, and his has definitely stayed on there better, as you can see. No paint scratches on him, on his face and his crest. But once again, the crest is molded in gray plastic, so if there are scratches, they don't show up. Where on this guy, it's black plastic, so the scratches show up. So come on, Takara. The thing we're going to start with is the upper torso. We're going to specifically start with the arms. So the first thing you want to do is you want to move these pieces, his butterfly joints, about that far at like a 45-degree angle, and then move the shoulders up to where they're sticking out. The reason you want to do that is for clearance later when you're fiddling with this middle part. Okay, then get this up. You guys can see this. I know this guy is black, so I've got as much light on him as I can to try to get it to show up. Push the smokestacks up. You're gonna pull this little tab on his bicep down, and then you want to angle his arm up like that. In fact, we'll move him. I'm going to spread his legs so we can get him shorter, because he can do the splits. Okay, that should work. This thing's huge, hard to get on camera sometimes. Next thing you want to do, pull this piece down, first you want to turn his fist around and then pull this piece down. Then I like to poke my finger into here, and that will get you to be able to move this piece on the bottom of his forearm up and then fold that in. Then you're going to pull his fist inside of his forearm and wrap this around. Then you're going to push this in, collapsing his bicep. So when you're done, this is what it should look like. Okay? Alright guys, I want to apologize too if I'm sniffling a lot. My allergies are bugging me, so I apologize for any sniffling you're hearing. Just my allergies are. I don't have the COVID. Already had that. Got it on New Year's actually, 2022. Fun times. So if I'm sniffing a little bit, that's why I've got allergies right now. So this is the clear coat I was talking about. I bought this at Hobby Lobby, I think. Dairy Clear. This is one you can brush on. It basically creates a clear varnish. It's gonna help keep that paint from scratching off. And then this is a Japanese company that makes this clear. This is the best clear that I've ever seen. It's called Mr. Super Clear. So I think it has UV protection too, this is a good thing to have. This is spray your MP44's crotch with clear coat. Highly suggest it. Highly suggestive. All right, we've got MP50 here. His arms are transformated properly. So this is where you want him to be at this stage. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna pull his neck So his face is forward, kind of sticking out like this. Then we're going to come to the back. You're going to pull this down all the way. Then you're going to pull his back out. This is going to form the front of the truck. And we'll go ahead and transform this really quick. Sorry if this is a little tall. Another tip for you guys, leave these angled like this. I'll show you why when we get to it, but just leave these angled like that. Okay. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to dislodge his torso on this massive hinge that he has. Fold this out of the way. Go ahead and fold this up because it's eventually going to sit like that anyway. And we're going to push his head back past where it was. So now that this piece has been removed, his neck can actually collapse a little bit further into his body. And then we're going to open his chest. It's hard to do this on camera. Okay, so you're going to open his chest up, revealing the matrix, which I don't have the matrix in here right now because it's just, I mean, he's Nemesis Prime. I don't know why he would have a matrix, but he do. Okay. Then you're going to pull this all down. Now this is why we have paint scratches on his crotch, because of the way this transforms. Here, and especially this guy right here that locks into the bottom in between his, literally his crotch where his penis would be. This is the main culprit that's scratching people's paint, is this hook. So be careful of this guy right here, because you have to fold this inside. You see that? That's what's scratching your paint. This guy and then these brackets as well will scratch the sides. So this is the piece that's scratching your diaper. Okay, but let's leave it out for now. What we want to do is start to twist. Make sure these clear, these pieces that are going to form the top of the cab, make sure that clears, and you're going to get this started to transform so that these are parallel right here. So his chest, his head has started to go into his chest. Oop, one step I forgot. You do have to push this up. Okay, that's the piece that's probably rubbing on his mouth guard, causing that to scratch. So again, be wary of that. Let's go ahead and get his head starting to go in there. Now that his head has collapsed, you can move his body further down. And you're going to fold this inside itself, and it's going to hook on his crotch. Now you're done with this piece, and you should be locked in, not worried about you should not be having any scratches anymore. Hold on, I just got a text message. Make sure I reply so nobody. Okay. Dude. Can't even have a day off from work without the place falling apart. Okay. Oh, again, sorry for the sniffles. Now, we're going to pull these pieces out of the way. So this is the reason why I had you angle his butterfly joints this way, so that we have clearance for these things to pop out. His side, I guess where his abs or his obliques would be if he was a human. Push this in, fold it in, and then you're going to pull the tire out and push it forward. Same on this side. push it forward. And they're gonna lock inside here. There's 2 notches and there's 2 nibs under there, and they're gonna lock inside, and now that's all locked together. And you can push these up so that they're out of the way and they don't scrape on the floor when you're rolling them forward. Now we're going to twist his chest windows 180 degrees. The top of his torso, these little flaps will fold in. And now we can finish kind of pushing his head. Now this is the problem. This is where we're getting rub on the crest. If you can see that in there. When his head goes inside and sits there, mine in particular has some flashing there, but it's so small and so intricate I can't get in there to shave it off. So that's what's causing my crest to get scratched, is there's just some flashing in there and there's really nothing I could do about it. But you can set his head up because it doesn't have to rest totally against it. So this is how your head should sit inside his body. And then you're going to fold these down to form the windows of the cab, the front windows. And you're going to bring this all the way down like this. Okay, this is why I had you leave these like this. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a piece sticking out of the top of this, and that's going to go under his chest. Once you have this lined up, and then you're going to push this in and push this in. There we go. So now it's flat. Now you have the front of the truck fully formed. And then you can push this down if you want. I would leave these up until you're done with the arms. So this is how he looks. So again, having this angled like this, when you transform him, whenever you pull this, before you pull this guy up or push it down, you want to have them angled like that. So then when you're done, you can just pop them in like that. And then this back piece you can just push up against. And again, we're creating solid shapes to give us more stability on this guy. Okay, this is how we should look at this point. If you want, you can fold his side hip skirts up and his back skirts up, and then his butt piece can go up as well. So this will give you more clearance for his legs. You can kind of fold them out of the way. Okay, now we're going to mess with the arms. Pretty simple. You're going to fold his arm in just like on the vintage toy, and you're going to fold his butterfly joint in as well, and you should hear a click. When you push this flat piece, you should hear it click. Also as well, this piece right here, there we go, should sit underneath his faux grill right here like this. Let's do the same on the other side. Hear that click? And then once again, just got something delivered, I think. Thanks, Alexa. And now you can fold these down. So now his cab is pretty much done. And if you look, these pieces should sit here, and this piece should sit here, and this should just form a box, basically, like a Optimus Prime Rubik's Cube. Now you do want the angles to be slightly up, not totally perpendicular. You want it to be angled up slightly. You guys can see that on camera. And now we'll move on to the legs. Okay, the legs. First thing you want to do is you want to make sure his feet are lined up properly so that they're totally square on before you start unfolding them. I like to go ahead and move my coffee out of the way so I don't knock it off the table. Yes, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning. And of course, that's when you get text messages and notifications, and it's like, I'm filming, people, leave me alone. So you're gonna fold this up like that. If you didn't see it, to cover his toes. It's just a little preemptive strike here. All right, so I've got his legs kicked back like this, just so they're eventually gonna fold back. So just went ahead and folded them back a little bit. Here, Prime, you watch my coffee, Prime. Okay. Next, take his fuel tank, fold it out like that. There's a little piece on the back of his leg that you're gonna open up. And this unlocks the side of his leg so that you can pull this whole piece out. Unfold this piece. Now, one thing you do want to make sure is this stays flat while you do this. You're going to fold this front corner piece of his leg in on itself like that. But this has to be down. If this is sticking up, it'll interfere. So make sure this is sitting down. Next, you're going to twist so that this is, you're actually going to twist this 360 degrees, which is crazy. This joint is nuts. I like to go ahead and pop this up at this point and then fold it in on itself. And then you can finish twisting it. You'll hear a click. Now it should, mine has a little issue sometimes with the clearance of it wanting to stay where it'll, there we go. Because mine can get stuck right here where it won't go down. So make sure yours can still fold in on itself, because we're gonna fold it back in on itself once we're done. Now you're gonna open this part up, the back of his leg, and you're gonna fold this piece down, and you're gonna ratchet his toe pointing forward and make sure it's all straight. This is another piece that if it's not lined up correctly, you're gonna have issues when you go to collapse things and fold them together. They're not gonna line up. So then you're gonna push this down like that. Okay? Next, we're gonna take this, the back of his leg, and pull it. And you can see this is his hitch where the trailer attaches. This needs to spin 180 degrees. And then this inside piece of his leg needs to fold inside on itself. And there is a tab in there. And there's a hole right here. You want those to line up. You'll hear it click. And you're gonna fold this little piece, filler piece, in on itself. Now you're gonna collapse the leg on this armature like that. Push this down. You're almost done with the leg. Next thing to do is to pull this piece out and then take his faux gas tank and fold it so that it looks like that. And remember, this still needs, this is gonna collapse back in, so you wanna make sure this hinge isn't stuck. I don't have this problem on my Optimus Prime 44, but on this model, for some reason, it likes to stick right here. So again, I'm gonna run through this really quickly on this side, because it's basically the same thing. There we go, clearance. See, this is the issue with this part right here. You guys can see this. This needs to sit flush. So if it's sticking up like that, or if it's like that, it's not going all the way down. That's why this piece needs to sit inside this piece. It's a very tight fit. Everything's a tight fit on this guy. Which way do I go now? Can't remember. I'm lost. Everyone's lost but me. There we go. All right. There you go. So the legs are pretty tricky on this guy. It's kind of the hardest part to get right. And you want to make sure these pieces form an A and his thighs are lined up properly. And you're going to push these together. This is one of the most important parts. This is going to lock together. Those faux inside pieces that you folded in hook together, and then his trailer hitch clicks together like that. Okay? Now this is the part where a lot of people don't do it right on both of these models. And basically, it's really hard to see, but there's a square hole right here. And we're going to put a round peg in there. No, I'm just kidding. There's a square peg, and then if you look in between his legs right now, hopefully you can see that. This piece right here, I should have got my spudger so I could point to it. This piece inside here forms a square that goes into that piece. And you can line it up. And then this is usually where people stop. But what you have to do is you have to make sure that this hooks inside there, and you have to put your hand on the bottom of his feet, hook your other hand on the bottom of the cab, and you have to shove this together. And you should hear it click. And then the back of his butt is going to sit on the back of his legs now. So that should be perpendicular. That has to line up. Now we can collapse these pieces. There's a knob right here that's going to go inside here on both sides. And this is how it should look. So one of the big problems people have is this gas tank when you're transformed staying level, and I'll show you how to make sure that happens. So we have to unfurl the side piece for the side of the cab, for the whole side of the truck actually. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to fold this out. You're going to fold this piece down, and then you're going to fold this inside piece up to form an L, like that. Then we're going to unfold this piece all the way like this, and we're going to fold this piece out. First, let's move this out of the way. Fold this piece out like this. So this is how it should look. And you're going to fold this piece out. This is the side of the cab, obviously, and you're going to twist this to make sure that it lines up. And this is the piece where a lot of people get messed up. So what you have to do is open this up again. I'm going to handhold this for a second. If you see here, this is why people have trouble with this lining up. When you fold this in, this piece right here, oops, this piece right here locks into this piece right here. You can kind of see that. This right here goes into here, and it'll click inside. So when we turn this bad boy around, you can see it's straight on, about as straight on as it's going to get, right? And see how it already wants to just fall flat. So we're going to do that on both sides. Form the L, flip this around, open this up, flip this around, flip it. Like this. Open this up. So this should sandwich in there. And you can see how it hooks in from all angles here. Now this will come undone and do this. And this is what a lot of people have trouble with, is this unhooks and it does that. And that's okay. If you line it up properly, you can always get it back in there. And it's going to collapse onto here. Now, this is the tricky part right here as well. There's a lot of things that have to line up right now. There's a nub here. So you want to make sure his arm is pushed in again, because it can come out while you're fiddling with it. But everything should be lined up and square. And so this nub right here is going to go inside this nub, this box right here. So when you fold this in, you want to line this all up. And it's going to click in here. It's going to click in the top of the corner. And it's going to click in next to the headlight. All at the same time. And it should line up like that. If you do have an issue, one tip I can give you, his piece, right, this triangular piece that's formed next to his faux grill on the underside, this is the bottom of his forearm. If you push on this, sometimes it'll help line everything up. So if you push that up, it'll click, and that little peg that's on his arm will fit into the underside of the door here. Once again, let's try to do that over here on this side. This all has to line up at the exact same time, which is pretty maddening. It's a lot easier to do when you're not looking through a camera lens. See, again, I'm pushing right here so that this all lines up. And then you can fold these out. His side view mirrors. And there you go. As you can see, my fuel tank lines up perfectly because of those two steps. First thing you want to do is make sure this piece is hooked in, and when you collapse his legs into the back of his butt, you want to make sure that all hooks in smoothly right here and right here. So there you go. He's done. That's how you transform him back into truck mode, obviously. I don't really see anybody having trouble lining things up when they put him into robot mode. Always seems to be when you go back into truck mode, things don't line up. But now, there you go. He lines up perfectly and rolls just fine. And his fuel cell is aligned and life is good. There you go. There's my transformation video for MP44/50. Thanks for watching, guys.